Hey guys, good morning. All right, I want to show you guys closing disclosure, what to look for, what exactly you're trying to check, and what your responsibilities are. So let's go ahead and take a look and dive right in. All right, so five main things. Here they are: sales price, closing costs, deposit, home warranty, and of course commissions. So let's go ahead and pull up one and take a look right now. Okay, so this is a closing disclosure. Okay, so it's going to have some information about the title company. I blotted out some of the stuff here. Information about your borrower, your seller, your lender, the closing date, so forth and so on. You notice in this example, there's a seller side and there's also a borrower side. Okay, so I normally just pay attention to the seller side and they all just sort of counteract, right? So if you see here, 330 is a credit to the seller and it's a debit to the borrower. So basic math here. So it should all equal out and settle out. Okay. But let's just, for the sake of argument, pay attention right now to the seller side. So first things first, sales price. Is that correct? Okay. That's first thing. Number two, there's our closing costs. There it is. Okay. Three would be deposit. In this case, there was none. Okay. I would see it. It would be a line item somewheres in here. Okay. Or you can look on the buyer side. You would see it reflected somewhere. So just make sure if you're representing the buyer, make sure um, the deposit is reflected somewhere. Sometimes it is not carried on the closing disclosure, and your buyer will receive a check at closing from the listing company or the title company or whoever's holding it. It's just a question of whether it's carried on here or not. Sometimes lenders choose to leave it off, but sometimes they want to see it reflected in there. So again, we don't control that, right? So that's the third thing. The other thing was the home warranty. In this case, I don't think there was one, but you would see a charge to the sellers somewhere on here. Now you will notice something like this. That is a charge to the seller. And in this case, it was for AC maintenance. So what happened in this situation was the seller paid for some maintenance. And I just told the seller, I said, look, I can give that invoice to the title company and they can pay that on your behalf. And they surely did. So that can be done as well. The title company can pay the expenses on your seller's behalf. So, and then finally, the last thing in this case, one of the five is going to be commissions. So there you'll see it's noted, the commission, make sure it's made out to the correct company. And of course, make sure that the amount is in fact correct. Now, while we're here, I'll go ahead and show you a couple other things, just things that are good for you to know. Again, these are things that you don't necessarily control, but they are good to just have an idea of what they are. HOA dues. Okay, so the seller went ahead and had these paid. Now, those are paid in advance, right? Meaning you pay those now and they're good for the remainder of the year, or you pay those, you know, in advance. Okay. So you'll see the seller will get a credit and it will be taken from the buyer because the sale we closed on the 27th or 28th, and the seller will receive a credit for the remainder of the year. And that's what the amount came out to be. Parish taxes right here. So the seller is only responsible for the taxes from the time and date that he's lived in it throughout the year, right? So you can see here, he's only responsible from January up to May 28th. And that is the amount that he's responsible for paying. So the title company collects that from him in the transaction. Now remember, if your seller is escrow and payments, all of that's going to come back to him because when you close this file out, the mortgage company that the seller has an escrow account, or more than likely has an escrow account, and will release whatever funds that they've been accruing in at escrow account and release them to the seller. So hopefully that makes sense to you. All right, moving on. Okay, these are just some other minor fees charged from the title company to the seller, pay off the loan, settlement fee for running his credit and making sure he's got no liens and judgments against him. Okay, you'll see this here. That is the loan payoff. And these are your seller's final numbers as we come down here. This is what mainly the sellers are going to want now. This stuff right here. Okay. So you see he's got a credit of this much and he owes this much, and then he's going to net that much. So that's what the seller will want to know, and you explain that to him. So this sheet, again, the 5 things you're looking for are sales price, closing costs, deposit, home warranty, and commissions. All right, guys, that's it for now. Hopefully that was helpful. Talk to y'all soon.